Imagine a world shrouded in darkness, the eerie silence punctuated by distant explosions. Cities lie in ruins, once bustling streets reduced to rubble-strewn scars on the planet's surface. This essay delves into a hypothetical, yet terrifyingly realistic scenario of a Third World War, exploring the potential triggers, the devastating consequences, and the paramount importance of diplomacy in averting such a catastrophe. At the heart of this potential global conflict lie unresolved disputes over territory, resources, and ideology. Nations with competing claims engage in a dangerous game of brinkmanship, each side convinced of its righteousness and unwilling to back down. Cyber attacks, once isolated incidents, escalate in frequency and severity. State-sponsored hackers infiltrate critical infrastructure, disrupting power grids, financial institutions, and communication networks. Military budgets skyrocket as nations modernize their arsenals and develop new and terrifying weapons of war. Hypersonic missiles, autonomous drones, and cyber weapons become the tools of choice in this new era of warfare. A minor naval incident, a border skirmish, or a cyber attack mistakenly attributed to the wrong nation could all serve as the spark that ignites the inferno. The world holds its breath, hoping against hope that cooler heads will prevail. The opening salvos of this hypothetical World War III are likely to begin subtly, with a series of cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure and sowing chaos and confusion. Limited strikes against key military installations could quickly escalate into a full-blown exchange of missiles and airstrikes. The speed and precision of modern weaponry mean that the conflict could spread like wildfire. A stray missile, an erroneous radar reading, or a miscommunication between commanders could have catastrophic consequences. The fog of war becomes even more treacherous in an age of hypersonic weapons and autonomous drones. As the conflict intensifies, the use of nuclear weapons becomes a terrifying possibility. The potential consequences of even a limited nuclear exchange are almost too horrific to contemplate. Pause 2S. In the midst of the global conflict, a hypothetical scenario unfolds where the USA and Russia, two of the world's most powerful nations, find themselves on the brink of direct confrontation. The stakes are higher than ever, as both sides possess vast arsenals of nuclear weapons and advanced military technology. Pause 2S. The potential triggers for such a clash are numerous and complex. A border skirmish in Eastern Europe, a naval standoff in the Arctic, or a cyber attack on critical infrastructure could all serve as the spark that ignites a larger conflict. Each side engages in strategic maneuvers, deploying troops, and conducting military exercises in a show of force. The world holds its breath as tensions escalate, and the risk of miscalculation looms large. Pause 2S. The devastating consequences of a direct confrontation between these superpowers are almost unimaginable. The initial exchange of conventional weapons could quickly escalate to the use of tactical nuclear weapons, and from there to a full-scale nuclear war. The loss of life and environmental destruction would be catastrophic, with long-lasting effects on global health, agriculture, and the economy. Pause 2S. This chapter emphasizes the urgent need for diplomacy and de-escalation to prevent such a catastrophic outcome. The importance of communication, negotiation, and mutual understanding cannot be overstated. In a world armed to the teeth with the most destructive weapons ever created, the only path to survival is through cooperation and peace. Pause 2S. As we delve deeper into the hypothetical scenario, we are reminded of the fragile nature of our world and the dire consequences of unchecked aggression. It is a sobering reminder that in the face of such overwhelming destructive power, humanity must choose the path of peace and diplomacy. Pause 2S. Only through concerted efforts to reduce tensions and build trust can we hope to avoid the brink of catastrophe and ensure a safer future for all. Within days, the initial conflict spills across borders, drawing in allies and transforming regional disputes into a global conflagration. Long-standing alliances are tested as nations are forced to choose sides. Technology plays a defining role in this new form of global warfare. Hypersonic missiles render traditional defense systems obsolete, and autonomous drones strike targets with ruthless efficiency. The battlefield extends into cyberspace, where armies of hackers wage invisible wars, disrupting communications and sabotaging infrastructure. The conflict brings unimaginable human suffering. Millions are displaced, seeking refuge in overcrowded camps or embarking on perilous journeys to escape the fighting. As the fighting rages on, the global economy collapses. Supply chains break down, essential goods become scarce, and hyperinflation cripples what remains of the global financial system. Despite the all-consuming nature of the conflict, glimmers of hope emerge from the ashes of destruction. Neutral nations band together to mediate a ceasefire. Anti-war protests erupt in major cities, demanding an end to the bloodshed and a return to diplomacy. The voices of reason, drowned out by the drums of war in the early days of the conflict, slowly begin to gain traction. As the fighting reaches a stalemate, a window of opportunity opens for peace negotiations. Exhausted by the relentless violence, the warring parties reluctantly agree to come to the negotiating table. The path to peace is long and arduous, fraught with mistrust and the bitter legacy of the conflict. Years of negotiations are required to address the root causes of the war and establish a framework for lasting peace. The hypothetical scenario of a Third World War serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present threat of global conflict. To prevent such a catastrophe, the international community must prioritize diplomacy, dialogue, and conflict resolution. Strengthening international institutions and fostering cross-cultural understanding are essential steps toward building a more peaceful world. Investing in education and promoting critical thinking are crucial to countering the forces of nationalism, intolerance, and violence. By equipping future generations with the knowledge and values necessary to navigate an interconnected world, we can help to break the cycle of mistrust and aggression. By embracing diplomacy and a shared commitment to peace, we can strive to create a world where the horrors of global conflict remain confined to the realm of fiction. The future of humanity may very well depend on our ability to choose the path of peace over the precipice of destruction.